My name is Christian Delpech. I'm originally from Argentina, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. I work in a bar called Carnival Court at Harrah's Casino Hotel. And I also have my own website, christiandelpech.com, and I'm also owner of flairlife.tv. My first introduction to bartending was when I was 17 years old back home in Argentina. In a small pub, I used to sell spring break trips for the students, for a company, and somebody contacted me from a pub. They needed a bartender, and they said I was perfect for the job, for my personality, and I was like, but I'd never, either drink or I'd never make a drink in my life. And he said, it's fine, it's okay. You can, try it, it's easy. So I just went there, and that's how I started. I started working in a pub when I was 17, no experience, and just putting drinks. That's how that was my introduction to bartending. I got introduced to flair by the movie Cocktail, actually. I was working at the pub, and I saw the movie Cocktail, and it was, I was very impressed with it. I was like, wow, that would be so cool to be able to do that behind the bar. And I definitely saw a potential. I saw, the big picture would be actually a flair bar. And where I work now, I was like, imagine how cool it would be if I would get paid to do that. And, years come by, and and it came true. When I started to flairing, there was nobody around, basically. It was 1995. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know any anybody who did flair. And basically we did flair with other friends and stuff, and we just did flair days, or we just go in another bar and watch somebody flair and take their moves and try to, get some, information and just try to create our own moves, because there's nowhere else to look at. My first competition was actually in Argentina. It was in 1998. It was a local competition at the Hard Rock Cafe in Buenos Aires, and it was my first comp ever. So, and a flair comp. So I did a flair, and I take first in flair, and I took second overall, because it was also speed round, and I took second overall. I got an offer in Las Vegas after winning Legends for Shadow Bar for the opening. So I worked in the opening of Shadow Bar in June 2001, and then I worked there for a year. In the meanwhile, I was competing all over the world, and I joined Carnival Court crew in 2002. They saw me winning the Legends for the second time, and it was a GM that was watching the competition. He told my boss, hire him, and they hired me. And I've been in Carnival Court since then, almost 8 years, 9 years. I was lucky to get hired in Carnival Court because they gave me a lot of freedom to go and compete pretty much everywhere I wanted, and give me all the time off I needed. So, and I took that time to compete. I would practice, every day, 3-4 hours a day, and also work out. I did everything basically. And nothing competing, and my focus was always competing, and just keep my mind and focus on see how I can improve and go changing my style, my moves, and music every single time. My motivation for competing was basically just the drive, the mentality that I have of, I'm a competitor, by nature. So I don't like to lose anything I do. So that pushed me to practice even more, and all the obstacles that came in the middle. If I thought I should have won and I didn't win, I would try to transform that into positive, that negative situation into positive, which in this case would be, well, if I didn't win, why didn't I win? Winning Roadhouse and Legends, it has only happened twice, and it was my brother and I. We're the only two that won actually Roadhouse and Legends multiple times. It's true, it's a completely different competition, but the beauty of flair is I always look at flair in all different perspectives, and the key it would be to adjust to that competition. For instance, if you compete in Roadhouse, they want to see the show, they want to see the sickest moves, to the music, everything else. So you prepare for that. That's one type. And then Legends is completely different. Legends is you have to be overall. I'm talking about overall bartender with speed. You have to do speed rounds, blind speed rounds. As many drinks as you can. I do practice to be overall package, because I didn't want to have any weakness when I practice. It's like Michael Jordan when he was the best scorer, and then everybody says, yeah, but his defense is in the best. So he started practicing on his defense, and then he was one of the best defense. So it's like he tried to get everything, so he has no weakness, no weak points at all. So in my routines, I try to do the same. When I do my routines, I try to have mixture actions, bumps, stalls, music, multiple objects, bottle team, everything, every different, on my style, but all different aspects. And also, I consider myself, I always talk about it, so I have to try to lead by example, that you have to be, overall bartender. So I like competitions like Blue Blazer, for example, which it was in the States. It was one of my favorites because you have to make a cocktail. It's like 40% the cocktail and 60% flair. Flair has to be difficult. It has to be stylish and beautiful. It has to be a nice flair routine, but you have to make a really good drink to be able to win the competition. That one I won it 2 years in a row, and to me that was a big accomplishment because now you have Legends, you have Roadhouse, you have the Blue Blazer. So you have, pretty much you won in every single aspect of flair. I see myself in the future owning a bar, I would say. I would love to own a bar and do it in the way I want it, the picture that I have in my head for all the trips that I've done and all the different bar styles that I've seen in my life. I kind of have an idea of what I want to have. So I'm planning, in the future, maybe sometime I could. My name is Christian Delpech and you're watching SIP TV.